Hi, everybody, and welcome to this four-part series, Variability for Adaptability. So this is a very short overview of how this series is going to work and what this series is all about. So when we think about variability in the body, we think about heart rate variability, and heart rate variability really gives us our resilience. It widens the bandwidth of our nervous system. So we want our heart rate to be able to go fast. We want our heart rate to also be able to slow down. And we want our heart rate to find a really healthy homeostasis, right? Sort of balance. It's the same with our breath. We want breath to be able to come faster when we need more blood and oxygen. We also want that breath rate to be able to drop back down when we're coming into a place of parasympathetic, right? Our sort of rest and relaxation. So movement is very similar, right? We want to have variability in our movement patterns, or we get a little stiff, we get a little achy, and we actually start to lose our range of motion. So when we're talking about planes of movement, we're really talking about sagittal plane of movement, which is very similar to walking, riding a bike. It's this forward and backward movement, right? This is sagittal plane of movement. We also have coronal, right? So coronal is where we start to take our side stretching. We start to bring our limbs out and away from the heart space. And then we have transverse, right? Which is where we start to find our rotation in the spine, our ability to kind of reach and rotate. So when we put all three planes of movement together, we start to find variable movement patterns. And much of this series is going to introduce these planes of motion, as well as start to introduce something we call reversibility. So reversibility means we're moving in one direction, we're finding a movement pattern, and then we're going to reverse that movement pattern and bring ourselves back to center. And when we start to find that we can reverse a movement pattern, that's where we start to say that we have ownership of that movement. So these series are going to move as progressions, right? So the first one will be on the floor. We'll be kind of looking at different movement patterns, very, very accessible. The second episode, we're going to start to grow ourselves a little bit further away from the floor, and we'll start to activate a little more core strength. We'll start to find these reversible movement patterns. And then episode 3, we're up, we're in a standing position. We're going to go through a series of shapes, reverse the series of shapes, go back through the series of shapes, and then reverse them again. And then episode 4, a little more standing, a little more intensity, a little more strength around the legs. So the plan here is to start with episode 1, play with it, get the fascia moving, get the circulation moving, and then jump into session 2. When session 2 feels doable for you, add in session 3, and so on and so on. So these can be then all put together into one big movement practice, or they can be broken down into their separate components. So that's a little overview of where we're headed. Thanks for joining me. Let's have fun.